Director of Communications for the Conservative Party.
The Conservative leader, David Cameron, has rejected calls from political rivals to sack Mr Coulson over the matter. He said there was a distinction between Mr Coulson did then and the government has announced that 14 people in the UK are now thought to have died after contracting swine flu. Health officials say swine flu has pushed the rates of influenza in London and the West Midlands to near epidemic levels. A teacher from Nottinghamshire is being questioned by police on suspicion of attempting to murder.
Daarover écologique à la situation.
Mais de la filiale étranglée et dont le corps a été retrouvé dans un égout à
Police say the teenager was beaten about the head with what they described as an implement during a summer morning. 2 other children were also allegedly attacked, although they didn't require medical treatment. A 49-year-old teacher, Peter Harvey, has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and assault. The 14-year-old boy was transferred from a local hospital to the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham. His condition worsened, although he's now said to be improving.
The Bank of England has decided to leave interest rates unchanged this month at 0.5%. The bank also said it had no plans to extend quantitative easing, a scheme under which it's trying to stimulate the economy. For the 3rd time this year, the steelmaker Chorus has announced job cuts in the UK. More than 350 posts are affected at its plant in Scunthorpe, as Angus Crawford reports.
Chorus blames what it calls the worsening and prolonged downturn for the need to axe more jobs in Britain. The company says there simply isn't enough worldwide demand for steel. This afternoon,
German
posts at its Scunthorpe plant were at risk, in addition to the 500 earmarked for closure last month. Union leaders described the plans as adding insult to injury. Today's news brings the total number of planned losses to about 5,000. Sites in Rotherham, Sheffield and South Wales.
United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon says the agreement by the G8 nations to cut their greenhouse gas emissions by 80% within 40 years does not go far enough. He said the cuts were needed sooner rather than later. Mr. Ban made the comments as the G8 tries to persuade the 5 main developing economies to restrict their greenhouse gas emissions too. The organisation given the job of encouraging children to eat healthy school meals says it's reversed a decline in the number of children eating lunch at school. The School Food Trust has produced figures showing a small increase in the uptake of school meals last year. But the numbers are still well down on 3 years ago when Jamie Oliver began his campaign to improve school food.
Thank you very much, Charles. Now, last night during the PM programme, news was just starting to come through of those fresh allegations about the use of phone hacking by journalists on the News of the World. The Guardian said that reporting on that paper had paid private investigators to hack into phones, many of them owned by politicians and celebrities. A bit of historical background for you. Back in January 2007, Andy Coulson, who was then editor of the News of the World, resigned after the paper's royal editor Clive Goodman was jailed for hacking into the mobile phones of palace staff. The allegations were investigated at the time by the police and by MPs. Mr Coulson accepted responsibility and resigned, but denied knowledge of the hacking operation. Months later, he went to work for David Cameron as his director of communications. Now the Guardian alleges that the practice of phone hacking was far more widespread. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner Paul Stevenson has ordered the Assistant Commissioner John Yates to establish the facts. We are waiting for Mr Yates to issue a statement. I can see reporters waiting for him outside Scotland Yard, and we'll bring you that statement as soon as it happens. The Guardian says that details about how widespread the operation was suppressed by the police at the time of the original investigation, although it did emerge at the time that 5 other people apart from the royals had also been targeted. One of those was the Lib Dem MP Simon Hughes. He told the World at One that at the time he hadn't known the extent of the